Hi, we're Mel and Missy, respectfully a clinical mental health therapist and Fear Fighter life coach. But it goes beyond that. We are representatives of you.
Trashed It is a brand that helps women focus on their next level of freedom by getting rid of the emotional garbage in their lives, whether it's toxic relationships, thought patterns, stigmas, etc.
We represent mothers and single mothers, daughters, wives, and divorcees, business professionals, entrepreneurs, and even Christians and ministers of the gospel.
We're trashing it all.
Hey guys, and welcome to the new season 2 of Trashed It. I'm your girl, Mel.
And I am Missy.
Happy New Year, Missy.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And Happy New Year to all of our guests, all of our subscribers and listeners. So
you know what? We're going to have to come up with a name for our followers, our listeners, our subscribers this year.
I know. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But thank you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's amazing to believe we actually have listeners.
I
know. Like, I don't take that for granted. Y'all,
I don't either.
We do not take for granted that you choose to listen to us. You could choose to listen to a number of different podcasts.
That's right.
And we are so thankful that you choose to rock with us.
Much.
We absolutely are. We just started in October?
Yes, October,
and finished the first season. Took a break to reflect and
much
refocus.
Needed break.
Yeah. In December.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're back in January.
Yes, can you believe it?
I really can't. But I'm so happy to be here in 2022. Listen, I'm telling you, I think my anxiety was getting a little high as we were counting down until midnight, because people were texting and it wasn't midnight yet. Mm-hmm. And they were saying Happy New Year. Mm-hmm. And I kept thinking like, okay, I'm trying to celebrate. But I really want to make sure I get into 2022.
Into the new, exactly.
Like, I don't want to jinx it. Is honestly low key what I found myself thinking. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
It's been a great ride, even in the second day of the year. So
it has. Really what are some of your goals for the year?
Oh my goodness. The more of making a difference is what I call them for myself.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. It goes with your last name. The more of making a difference. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. See, you know what? I wish I could do that. I'm not that creative. I'm not that creative. I'm not that creative.
You know what? Mine is saying yes to things that fall under my purpose and saying no to what does not align with it.
I like that.
Being more effective instead of being busy.
That part right there. That part.
What about yourself?
So, we talked the other day and I didn't realize it, but I was telling you that my word or my 2 words for the year were actively consistent. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Actively consistent. And I talked about how it tied into my word for 2021, which was intentional. And mm-hmm. I don't even know why I didn't think about it, but you said, you can take your word into 2022. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to stick with intentional, because I do think that encompasses being consistent.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
It encompasses being active with
exactly.
Because if you're intentional, you have to be actively pursuing that.
You do.
So officially, my word is going to be intentional. Yes.
And you're starting off correctly already.
I don't really have an opinion, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so and this is a big one for some people. It's definitely one for me, but it's just my opinion. However, I believe all employers should allow their employees the opportunity to be off for MLK Day.
Mhm.
There, I said it.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm just saying.
But it's true. It's
I'm
true.
just saying.
It's not a day off, it's a day on. It's still a day on.
Right. Absolutely. I remember I worked in the school system, and it was so funny because, well, actually it wasn't funny.
Mhm.
It probably almost got me fired because I could feel, the little vein in my neck start to kind of pulse a little bit.
Yeah.
But one of my coworkers was standing talking in the hallway,
Mhm.
and myself and the other counselor, her name was Clara Roberts.
Oh, she's so missed.
Yes. And so Clara and I were standing talking because we were PO'd
Mhm.
to be at work
Yeah.
on Martin Luther
Okay.
King,
Yeah.
the day we celebrate Martin Luther King. And this woman, I'm not gonna say this chick, this woman, she says, this chick says, well, I think it's a good thing that we're open on MLK Day, because then we'll get more days later. And before I knew it, I said, ma'am, no, excuse me, but there will never be a day that I think it's okay to be at work on the day we celebrate Martin Luther King.
Exactly.
I was like, you are never going to find the average Black person that will ever agree with you on that.
Absolutely.
And,
that's true.
And she just kind of looked at me, and scoffed in disbelief. And it was one of those moments of, I'm sick of this church. That's what I really was thinking. Like, I'm sick of this church and I'm sick of you. But I digress.
There's freedom in that.
Look, you may have to edit that, but that day, I was like, I'm sick of you. Shall we get into the topic of the day?
Real quick, before we do, Betty White.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you for being a friend.
Travel down the road and back again.
Oh, karaoke!
Oh, yeah. Such a legend.
Mm-hmm. That's just 99, right?
Yes. Like 2 weeks before her birthday? Mm-hmm. Birthday's this month. Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh.
Yeah.
She lived a great life.
She absolutely did.
So all the Golden Girls are gone.
I know. I remember watching them. I used to stay with my grandmother a lot.
Uh-huh.
My grandmother lived next door to my parents, and at the time, I was the only grandchild. And then my uncle had a son, but they lived away. Okay. And so it was myself and my grandma. So my grandmother was legit my best friend because both my parents worked. My dad at the time, he drove it. He was a truck driver. Mm-hmm. And he eventually owned a logistics company. But that was the thing. We would watch the Golden Girls with Blanche, Rose, Sophia. I feel like I'm missing one. I feel like I'm missing one. Blanche, Rose, Sophia, Dorothy. Yeah. So that was one of the shows we watched. Oh. And so those great memories.
Very great memories. Wow.
So okay. On to I am so excited about our topic for the entire month.
I am too.
Oh my God.
I'm sad about Sunday evenings, but I'm excited about the topic.
Yes. So, Missy, tell us, what are we trashing today?
Well, we are trashing the stigma of being insecure. It's okay I have to pay homage to the show. Like, I grew up with that show.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's okay to be secure, and it's even okay to be insecure.
That's interesting. That's interesting. It's okay to be secure and it's okay to be insecure. I like that. And
I think it all comes around with growth.
Yeah.
And I know you and I talked about the show, and you know, we watched it and rewatched it and watched it again and maybe did another one. But there were so many things that I picked up on in that show, including with a male in that show.
Okay. Do share.
And so Lawrence, at the end of the show, he led Issa to the dance floor. Now, it's not about the dance floor, but it's because he led, and throughout their whole relationship, she was the driver in that relationship because he lost his drive.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm like, come through, Lawrence, with the come on, I got you. Like, oh, and it was growth. I think, and if you picked up on it, everybody had growth during a birthday. Everybody grew. But yeah, that's what we're talking about today. So as you can see, that we are paying tribute to Insecure
all month
long of January, because that show, I mean, not only we know it was fictitious, but everything that each one of those characters went through, we all have went through in and around our lives at some point in time. And we still could be going through it, because how many of us, Mel, have been insecure?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think that's the problem a lot of us have, that it's okay to even admit that you're insecure in some things, but it's also okay to work through the insecurities to become secure.
Right. Oh, I like that. Say it again.
Oh, girl, you're gonna have to do the repeat. See? You'll catch it on. You'll catch it on
right, though. Right, but like you're right though. It's okay to be insecure, to become
absolutely
secure,
absolutely. And it's I think it teaches us growth.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that is what we are talking about today. So I will start with a question of, have you ever had a time in your life, whether it's, you know, childhood that you can recall, not even knowing that it was in some type of insecurity until you became older, or whether you were in high school, college, now in your adult age, now that you're a mom, were there insecurities that you experienced, or one that you realized that, wow, I did not realize I was insecure in that?
You know what? So even in listening to you ask the question and thinking back to childhood, I always thought I was different. But I think one of the things I was really insecure about was, and now it seems so weird, but I was insecure about my earrings, my ears.
Really?
I know, because my not my parents. Well, my dad was very, very, at the time, was very, very old fashioned. And he did not want me to have earring holes. He didn't want me to have ear piercings. So all of my friends had pierced ears. And here I am, middle school, no pierced ears. And that was just, oh my God, that was just awful.
Really?
It was awful. It was awful to me. I was insecure about being a church girl.
Well, I have something on that, but you just go on, because I think we both can.
I was insecure about being a church girl because most of my school friends, not my relatives, but a lot of my school friends didn't have the same strict environment that I came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was always insecure about what I could do, what I couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I was insecure about what they thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like the popular girl, but the popular girl that was also the church girl, which made me uncool a little bit. Because I could only go so far, I could only do so much.
Yeah.
Until I started sneaking to do
exactly
a ton of things.
Exactly.
Which is a different episode, different day. But yeah, I was insecure about ear piercings. I was insecure about being labeled this church girl. I was insecure about being from the country.
Really?
Yes, I was. I didn't realize how insecure I was about that though until I became an adult.
Okay.
So when I became an adult and the world opened up to me. And I was able to travel and live in different places, then it occurred to me that, oh, you talk country, or where are you from? Like, where are you from? Oh, you're from Mississippi, so I was very insecure about where I came from at one point early in adulthood. I've been secure about things, I would say, for the majority of my life in different capacities.
Yeah.
But those are just a few. Look, those are just a few.
Just a few. I understand.
So what about you?
Wow. One was my last name.
Really?
I was so insecure about that because kids would joke with me about it.
I forgot that one. My last name was Weary. I ain't know not one other Weary in the world until I was probably in high school. So I get it.
Yeah. And so, Moorhead, and they would joke with you, Moorhead, forehead. I'm like, oh my God. And I remember going home one day telling my mom and dad, I'm like, I'm going to change my last name. The kids are joking with me. And I look back on it now when, my dad is no longer here. He's been deceased now for 10 years. And I remember after dad died, anything that I do, I am going to put it in his last name. And so I look back, I'm like, wow, what I found insecure for myself, what I couldn't embrace at that time, growing up in elementary school and even in a little bit, maybe the first year or two of middle school, junior high school, wherever you're from, that I embrace that name now. And then my second insecurity was always wanting to fit in, but knew that I was different. Like I was that circle that tried to fit in that square. Like, Melissa, you don't fit. Yes, I do. I am going to get in, give me some room.
Yes.
And then what that transpired into, in my late adult years, I would say, is trying to dummy down my walk and my calling, even to fit in. And I was insecure in that. Ooh. And then, you know what? I'm like, no, this is who I am. This is how he made me. I have a calling. It's me. And I'm just going to embrace it and walk in it. And so that took growth. And I think that took maturity on my part and letting that go. So yeah, those are my insecurities. Few of many, I should say. Yeah. I'm not going to say one because I'd be lying.
Right. But I think that was... I think that was the beautiful thing about the show, right? That as we were talking about, I think there's a piece of each character.
Oh, absolutely.
That we've been or are presently, at some point in our lives, whether it's insecurities about relationships or our work life or with our family, with our friends. I think there are many ways that we've all been insecure.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Do you think, and so going back to the show, do you think, no, I'm not going to ask that. which character do you think that truly showed growth
Ooh.
in this? And I'm going to say from the beginning, season 1 to the end of season 5.
You know what? Okay. So if I'm honest, I would have to say, I think Molly had the most growth.
Okay.
Of the women. I think
Mhm.
Molly had the most growth. If I were going to say of the men,
Mhm.
I would have to say Lawrence.
Okay.
Of course. I would definitely have to say Lawrence.
Mhm.
But Molly, because that chick, when I say to me, she represented a huge part. And maybe it's because I really identified with her, you know. But to me, she had the most growth.
And I don't think I think Marley, Lord have mercy. I think Molly underestimated herself. I think she did not realize how strong she was.
Right.
And again, it goes back to me personally, I am an analytical thinker. I mean, she didn't realize how strong she was. She was so strong that her mother died while she was on vacation.
Right. But you know what? When we go back to the beginning seasons, and I think about how insecure she was while presenting to be so secure.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And I think that's really why I identify with her, because from on the outside looking in, you would never think she was this person that was insecure.
Yeah.
In any part of her life. Right.
Absolutely. That's true.
But then to see just how insecure she was, and how work and relationships, how she had to play this certain position to keep up appearance, or to feed this, honestly, to really feed her insecurities.
Yeah.
You know, like she couldn't be in a relationship unless she was completely in charge.
Oh, in control with a capital C.
Yeah, of every single facet of the relationship. You know, like she was just dragging these dudes, right? Wherever she wanted to go, whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, and would twist it and turn it onto them if they didn't want to cooperate with what she wanted to do.
That's
so
true.
I think I identify so much with her and think she had the most growth, because she had to really, what I consider, come undone, right? Like she had to
absolutely.
She had to go to the therapist and stop pretending. She really did.
That's true.
And really look herself in the face, be hurt, be vulnerable, and then say, it's me. And I think
get healing in those aspects, not cutting you off, but still wanting to be healed.
Right. Are you interested in being a sponsor for the Trashed It podcast? If so, reach out to us via email at wetrashedit@gmail.com. So who for you? Who for you had the most growth?
Oh gosh. Oh, it's a tie. And I'm actually going to say Kelli.
Really? Okay. Okay. Tell me how.
I think Kelli, first of all, I think Kelli I don't think Kelli underestimated herself. She dummied down herself with her girlfriends.
Yes, I agree.
She dummied down herself with her girlfriends because she never wanted, I do believe that she never wanted to appear to be the secure one. I mean, she had her stuff together. She really did. And I think financially she was, she had her stuff together. Emotionally, I think she did, just because she didn't care what anybody thought towards the end. But season 5, she did.
Right.
Yeah, season 5. I'm basing all of this on 1 through 4, of course.
Okay.
But I think she dummied down who she really was to fit in.
Yeah.
Because I think she was looking for something for so long. Like, wow, I found my tribe. I have these girls, like they love me and they accept me. okay, I'm gonna just dumb me down just a tad bit, just to play, the fourth chair to these chicks, because her and the other young lady were best friends, and Molly and Issa were best friends. But the friendship and the love that they have for one another, they came together and they worked together. But I loved how she embraced, even when she talked about the fact when she died. And her girlfriend was like, you were not dead. But she, in her mind, she did. And what I loved about season 5 with her is that she accepted her death in order to live again.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, it got me to wondering, of course. I was thinking, I said, what if that happened to us? Like, what if you saw your name in an obituary and you're like, hold up, I'm not dead. Like, I'm not dead. I am alive. I'm alive and kicking. I picture myself. I can feel it. My pulse is still going. But that's a reflection.
It is.
And it goes back to the old cliche we always hear, time is running out. Time is too short. Life is too short. And I think what she did, she took life by the horn. She owned up to who she really was. She embraced that thing for however many episodes it was in season 5. And so not only did she find love, she's now going to get, was getting ready to become a mother. And she has a career that she loves doing.
I don't even think I really knew just how well she had her stuff together until the last season. I think it was it the last season when she, I think or was it season 4 when she was working with them on the estate planning?
Oh no, the first, so going into the first season of season 5, so like the first couple episodes of season 5,
because she would rarely let you see that part of her, but the code switch, code switch was everything. The code switch was everything.
She knew how to work a room. She knew where I do believe that she knew where her strength and her weaknesses were. And she played on them both, and she played them quite well. And so I think that's why she was successful in her own right. I think that's why that she was able to be secure in the insecurities that she had, but she knew, like, you know what, I can't keep operating like this in the insecurities. I need to come clean and be honest.
Right. I think what the show really showed was that it's okay to be insecure as long as you can grow.
That is the whole
like, just don't stay, right? Like let's just not stay there. But it showed that, and I think that, that's kind of what we're really trashing in this first episode that really kind of sets the tone for the rest of the month is it's okay to be insecure.
It is.
It's also okay to own it and be willing to deal with it.
Yes, and work it out
and grow, and grow. We just don't want to stay there.
Exactly, because there is an objective to everything that we go through in life.
Right.
And it's up to you, the individual, to find out what it is. And so ultimately the foundation is growth.
You know what? One other thing I thought about is the fact that for the most part, what I really saw at least in the beginning with both Issa, not just with Issa and Molly, but Kelli as well as Lawrence and the others, there was a lot of blame of others for their own insecurities. Right. Remember when Issa got out on Molly about who all she was sleeping with and just that whole thing. And I think that's just one example. But to me, it really seemed like in the beginning, there was a real concentration. And I think we do it too. We have our insecurities, but it's never on us. It's never our fault. We didn't do it.
It's always there.
Yeah. So we because we don't, number one, we don't even want to deal with our insecurities. We want to, it's not that I'm insecure. It's not that I'm insecure. It's you. It's them over there.
Yeah.
Oh, they're talking about me. They don't like me. They don't want to deal with me. We, even as we were talking about me putting it out on social media that I want to take a girls trip abroad.
Yeah.
I easily could throw out my own insecurities and say, oh, well, I'm not going to do that because people don't want to fool with me. They everybody has a problem. No.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not everybody. Sometimes it's you.
I tell clients all the time, you follow you wherever you go.
Oh, that's good.
You follow you wherever you
go. And that's true.
And so if the problem is always where you reside,
then it's you.
You might be the problem.
What do you say, Mel? Sir?
Ma'am, look, ma'am, sir.
Yeah. But it's about growth at the end of the day.
And
you have to be willing to want to grow. Now, if you want to stay stuck, that's up to you. And like, good riddance.
There are a lot of pain points. I think that was one of the other things we saw is that insecurities do bring about pain.
It does.
Pain and disappointment. But it goes back to, we don't have to be stuck there. We don't have to be stuck there. And it's okay to be insecure. Just grow.
That's it.
Just grow.
And it's not, and you know what? Be willing, not only to grow, but understand is a great possibility. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen.
Listen, how many seasons did it take?
5.
5 whole seasons.
Yeah.
Now put
5 24-minute episodes, but the last,
right.
But the last show was like what, 42 minutes.
I was so upset.
I know.
That, but I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, it takes time. In the thought that one day or 1 week or 1 month is going to solve it all. No, because guess what? Most of us who have dealt with insecurities, even when we look back at the show, those insecurities didn't just arise in season 1. The insecurities they brought into season 1 were insecurities they had from the beginning.
And unfortunately followed them from each season until until that big trigger, the block party, the fight, not really the fight, but you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to tell you about yourself. Well, I'm going to tell you about yourself. And now you got to sit in your mess and there's nobody that you can talk to but you. So you talk about looking in the mirror, talking to yourself, in the mirror. When those real conversations happen and took place, I think even for Issa's, for her growth as well.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, it's again, when we were meeting, you and I were meeting and planning our really first quarter. And I'm like, no, we got to touch this. We have to touch on it. Because I think it's a show that's near and dear to not only you and but to women in general. Like crazy as it, like I grew with that show. I saw myself in so many points in that show.
And I saw myself in several of the characters.
Isn't that it? But that now that we were able to be vulnerable and cheer for them, maybe cry for them, get mad at them, whatever the case may be, because we saw ourselves in them. Yeah. And I think that's what some of those type of shows are truly about. But it's more than, oh, that's my favorite show. Like, no, I am gonna low-key miss 9:00 on Sundays. Like, well, what am I going to do now? Well, maybe I'll go back and watch all the seasons again. That was a show that was just truly near and dear to my heart. And I think especially at a particular season in my life that it became, it became therapy for me.
Right. I think when you're open to growth, it's almost encouraging. I found it encouraging to watch the growth of these women.
Oh, absolutely.
And I found it encouraging that even as I have dealt and continue to deal with my own insecurities, that I've been able to watch this group of women also grow and achieve and bounce back and be resilient you know, and no longer work in imposter syndrome, you know,
girl. Yes.
Different things like that. So
or self-sabotage.
Yes, yes. All the things that I have really seen within me as far as insecurity, it was great to be able to see this group of women who were successful.
I was just getting ready to say that, Mel.
Who looked like us, right? That we could really identify with on a real level.
Absolutely.
You know, they weren't just these characters that were so fictitious and so blown out of proportion that it could never be real life. They were very much so etched into real life.
They were reachable.
They were very, very reachable. And so I think even as we end this first episode, that, you know, we definitely pay homage to the show. We pay homage to Issa Rae and the rest of the cast and the writers and producers, everyone that had anything to do with the show. We say, like, thank you for bringing us a show that absolutely resonates with the average woman.
That is so true. Like, that's what we saw for the past X amount of years, for 5 years. That was our reality. Like, I know what it is. You know, you work a 9 to 5.
It's the unspoken.
Absolutely. The unspoken reality. The unspoken reality of struggles, of pains, of purpose, but growth in the end. And so thank you so much. From our hearts to yours, Issa Rae. Because we are going to set the atmosphere that she is download this, and she is a follower of ours. So thank you, Mel. But that's growth. Because you know what? I mean, crazy as it sounds, Mel, we could have an insecurity of, well, do we touch this on the subject? You know, how are we going to sound? What is it going to sound like? Or what is it going to look like when we talk about it? No, we talk about it because we can relate to it.
Right. And I think
so. I appreciate you. Because it takes a team. You and I are a team, and I appreciate you even being open to the concept of, like, nope, we need to talk about the show for a whole month, because again, it opens that door for multiple conversations for seasons to come.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
So to those who are listening and will listen to this episode and will continue to listen to the podcast. Hey, it's okay to be insecure as long as we're growing.
As long as we're growing.
So that being said, thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you are subscribing, that you are liking. Yeah, set your reminders, set your notifications. We know that you're listening, but again, we need you to actually follow and share. Okay. So, and also follow us on social media at We Trashed It. Oh yeah, there it is.
Right there.
And if you have particular topics you want to hear us trash, email us at wetrashedit@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So until next week, we'll see you.
Thank you again. Happy New Year.